Hey everybody, Mrs. Bianchi here. We're looking at number 10. The table shows the grades that 4 students received on their last math test, and here they are, which shows the students in order from greatest test to least. And this is really important. Greatest to least means we want the number with the highest value first. Now, some of them are already decimals. So Alex is already decimal. We already have Wilson as a decimal. And this is easy enough to turn into a decimal because that reads as 9/10. So you could write it as 9/10. But I'm going to recommend you add a 0 just so we can compare it to the other hundreds place. So the thing that's not a decimal is this number. And we have 2 ways to turn that into a decimal. We can either take the numerator of 16 and divide it by the denominator of 20, or we might consider taking advantage of the fact that the denominator of 20 is a factor of 100. So if you like that approach better, you can say to yourself 20 times what equals 100, and we would get times 5, and we can do 16 times 5. And if we do that, you're going to get some number, and anything over 100, it would be this number, point something something. So that's what this would be. This would be point something something, and then you would put that here. You'd have the 2 digits, and then you'd compare. Now, remember, we want the thing that's the greatest first. So you don't have this number yet, but you're going to do that on your own, and you're going to compare that. Now, the numbers that are the greatest, if you look at the ones place, they're all the same. That's not going to help us to order them from least or greatest to least, rather. But when you look at the hundred or the tens place, rather, we already can see that Wilson is not going to be first because his tens place number is lower than these. So Wilson being first is the greatest. That's off the list. You can cross that one out. Now, when you're determining, let's say, well, hopefully you have this written down, but when you're comparing this number and this number, you want to compare by looking at the hundreds place. So what's greater, 5 hundredths or 0 hundredths? That's going to help you to distinguish between Alex and Tanya. And then just make sure you put the decimals here, and then you'll be able to tell who's next after Alex and Tanya seem to be the ones that are going to be the greatest. So figure out which one's greater. Then you have to determine out of the remaining students which order. All right, so good luck finishing that up.